Time for an American Family News update. I'm Bronson Woodruff. The presidential election is ramping up, and border security remains a key issue. Florida Congressman Corey Mills went on Fox. He blamed the Biden-Harris administration's border policies. He said this has allowed dangerous criminals to enter the U.S.
Has had hundreds of people on the terrorist watch list come across.
Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee reported over 250 encounters of illegal immigrants on the terrorist watch list by Border Patrol between 2021 and 2023. Vice President Kamala Harris has become the Democratic Party's presidential nominee, while President Biden tells CBS News he takes former President Donald Trump's comments seriously when Trump talks about a, quote, bloodbath if he loses the election. Peter Ducey brings this report.
President Biden is no longer a candidate. He's going to leave office in January, regardless of who wins. We don't even know if he watched the Harris Walls rollout in Philly because officials here won't tell us if he watched it. But President Biden is trying to keep interested parties focused on Donald Trump in his first interview since dropping out. The Trump people continue to insist the bloodbath comment from him was a reference to the auto industry from a rally months back. That is what President Biden was referring to. As for Vice President Harris, she has not sat or stood for in-depth questions since she was elevated to the top of the ticket.
President Biden is heading to Delaware today, where he is expected to thank campaign staffers who were working to get him back in office before he exited the race. Egypt's Civil Aviation Ministry said Wednesday that it has ordered Egyptian airlines to avoid Iranian airspace for 3 hours the following day, after a notice from Tehran said to do so because of military exercises. The warning comes amid soaring tensions in the region following last week's assassination of Hamas's leader in Tehran. The Egyptian ministry said the warning came in a notice sent by Iran to all commercial airlines. The ministry said the ban from Iranian airspace was to last for 3 hours, 4:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. today, Thursday. Iran's warning also covered 3 hours earlier on Wednesday, the ministry added. Tropical storm Debbie has made a second landfall in South Carolina on its way up the east coast, where residents as far north as Vermont could get several inches of rain over the coming weekend. The National Hurricane Center says Debbie came ashore early Thursday near Bulls Bay, South Carolina. The storm is expected to keep moving inland, spreading heavy rain and possible flooding all the way up through the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast by the weekend. Debbie made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane early Monday on the Gulf Coast of Florida. It's now a tropical storm with max sustained winds at 50 miles an hour. Considerable flooding is expected across parts of eastern South Carolina and southeast North Carolina through Friday, with an additional 3 to 9 inches of rain forecasted, as well as some portions of Virginia, according to the Hurricane Center. And that'll do it for this American Family News Update. Thanks for watching, and also be sure to keep an eye on AFN.net for much more news from a Christian perspective. I'm Bronson Woodruff.